Whoa, people! What just happened there? Whoa, I'm back. What just happened? You know what? Speaking so much about the jinn. I swear, this is, well, I'm back, people. Speaking so much about the jinn. I just got interrupted right there just as I decided to, I don't know what that was. Ahlan wa sahlan bikum, people. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome back. I don't know how that got interrupted all of a sudden, but it just suddenly did. Made no sense, but chalo. Sorry, I'm just straightening this up. I had to take this off and restart it. Right, so alright, people, so these village wars, what's been going on? So let me just recap briefly. God, my just seeing if I had a so right now so right, let's recap, people. Asrar had accepted the debate from Maulvi Usman, a graduate from Bari at Deobandi, who had for once, people, done a game-changing move. The game changer was, for decades on end, the Brelvi ulama have been accusing the Deobandis of blasphemy. And they've been saying these people blaspheme against our Prophet, they're disrespectful, blah, 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 all these kind of things. And the Deobandis have been on the back foot. They've been kind of running away. You know, these people have said, look, Rashid Ahmad Gangohi said this, Qasim Nanotvi said this, Ashraf Ali Thanvi said this, they're all full of blasphemy, blah, 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 all these things. And for decades on end, the Deobandis have been justifying. Usman, what he did, and I gotta, credit where credit is due. I gotta rate Maulvi Usman for his tactic. You see, what he did is, his move was a Copernican move, people. It was like Copernicus, okay? Because he said, forget about the Deobandi Akabir. How do you justify your blasphemies? So this is, I'm telling you, this is like a game changer, because this is like a cognitive dissonance that, wait a minute, what? Brelvi blasphemies? Because the Brelvis have been for non-stop saying things like, Gustach, these people disrespect the Prophet, Gustach. And now he said, I've got potentially hundreds of blasphemies by your elders. Why are you not making noise about these? So that's the backdrop. So I gotta, credit where credit is due, that what Maulvi Usman did is a tactic that you wouldn't have really expected, because even in Pakistan and those places where these debates originate from, even over there, those people have not really done this tactic. Not popularly anyway. I haven't really heard of it, to be honest. I mean, if some people have, but it's not so well known. Now, Asrar reacted by, first of all, trying to give a very a lovey-dovey we should all be friends and brothers and that kind of stuff, which was an interesting tactic, I think. I thought, acha, this is, I thought, you know, this is interesting because when you look at Asrar's YouTube channel or his videos or his Facebook page, you just have to go down slightly to see all these, you know, whether it's posts or videos or clips he's made calling against these groups and calling them kuffar and so he's got a video clip, for example, on YouTube where he says he supports the fact that the founders of Deoband are kafir. Ashraf Ali Thanwi, Rashid Gangohi, Qasim Nanotwi, these people, he supports the fatwa that they are kuffar, they are not Muslims. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting that, you know, you're now saying that, no, we're all, we should all be kind of friendly and cooperate. However, if you look at your own post, but there was that said, they still decided to meet. Now, I've got to say, from the outset, look, this one thing is clear. This was anybody watches this, I think it's only about it's probably about 20 to 30 minutes long. This is the debate, right? This dialogue that they have. Asrar clearly, in my understanding, loses this debate, and Usman clearly won it. That's in my understanding. You can watch it for yourselves. Usman comes down to Birmingham and they meet in this place. Now, to be fair, I personally would probably, as a person, disagree with both of these people, and I don't think I'd have much in common, and in some things maybe more in common with Asrar, maybe not, then maybe Usman. I'm just saying, so it's me seeing this as from my viewpoint, it's very different. I'm just saying because I don't really agree with either of these people on many of their issues or their approaches. Yet, if you watch this, you can clearly see, that Asrar just made a fool of himself. Seriously. So what happens? Check this out, folks. They meet, they record this. Asrar begins by saying that I'm going to put 3 things down. I don't know, and he goes on that we're going to talk about something, we're going to set out these conditions. And we're going to agree to debate according to the Rashidiyah. Now, this is an interesting point that I'm going to have to come back to, okay? Because this turns out to become the gospel for Asrar. It's also the get-out clause and the exit card. He then, from the offset, says that if you say no to any... Like, he begins by saying, I want you to introduce yourself. And I can't remember, something else. And we're going to discuss according to the rules of the Rashidiyah. And if you say no to any of these things, then the second thing is there will be no abuse. And that, I think, is a very good thing, to say there's no abuse. Only to see that he himself goes on to abuse. Asrar. Hamari cat or hum pe attack. Meow. This is the lion of Ahl Sunnah people. Meow. Right, so, but I thought that was a good rule, although it was a useless rule because he himself goes on to violate it not so long after. But he says none of us will be abusive. We must show respect. Anybody abuses, they must immediately leave. If your people speak, they must immediately leave. Blah, 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 blah. All this. So the abusive thing, I fully support. I thought that was a good point. Put forward by Asrar, but then violated by him. Right, now, the third point was this Rashidiyah, this book, this sacred Rashidiyah, right? We're going to come back to that. Now I think Asrar says that, look, if you're going to say no to any of these, then now get up and leave. I thought that was just bang out of order. That, what the hell? Like, how can you invite somebody? How can you invite somebody and then just say to them, this is your opening conversation, that, look, we're going to speak according to this, we're going to speak according to this book. If no, then exit right now. What is wrong with you? I mean, the person's come, talk to the guy, for God's sake, or just don't invite him. Like, I think, look, what is wrong with you? Just don't invite people for a conversation, or invite them and have a conversation. Like, I don't see what the big deal is in, if we're going to speak according to this, if not, then you can get up now and leave. So that I thought was as dumb as it got. Then it came to Usman. To be fair, I think, you see, so when it comes to the introduction part, I thought that was a fair point. Although, to be, what would have been better is if Asrar got somebody to introduce them both. That would have probably made it more fair, more like just a spokesperson, just to say, look, this is who Asrar is, this is what he's done, this is what he's studied, this is who Usman is. That would have been a more genuine kind of thing. But okay, he said to Usman, introduce yourself. Usman, in my understanding, should have just introduced himself. I don't know why he got a petty on not introducing himself. His point was, you already know who I am, but I just thought, look, what's wrong with just saying, look, this is who I am, this is where I've studied, this is where I've done my alim course. No big deal, really. I don't see... So I think that was petty on Usman's part for not introducing himself. Then it comes to this book. Now, people must be wondering, what is this? What is this book, for God's sake? Right, so basically, let me give you some backdrop, people. So there was a scholar from the 8th century of Islam, a philosopher and theologian by the name of Sayyid Sharif Al-Jurjani. So Jurjani, Georgie. So Jurjani wrote a book called Adab al-Bahthi wal-Munadhara. So he wrote this book of the kind of, not art really, because it's not so concerned with art, but it's more like a logician approach to debate, as in what debate is about, and he himself was a philosopher, so basically categorizing things, and Aristotelian kind of taxonomy and categorization, and so a debate consists of certain things. There are certain arbitrators, certain decisions to be made. There must be a debate, a topic of discussion. The topic, one person will be the claimant, the respondent. They will. So he's kind of categorizing and laying out what is. He's kind of in some ways trying to make scientific a debate art. Now. This book, then, about 3 centuries later, there's an Indian scholar by the name of Abdul Rashid Jaunpuri. Now, sorry, oh God. Just had this cold, you see. So now, Abdul Rashid Jaunpuri, who was a scholar from the time of Shah Jahan. So those of you that remember the Taj Mahal from India, in fact, and Shah Jahan actually, he I believe kind of had him do some work for him as well and stuff like this. So he's from that time, and he wrote a commentary on this book of Jurjani. So it's his sharah, his commentary on, so this is the Rashidiyya, right? So so it's from about just under 400 years ago, right? So about over 350 odd years ago. So this Rashidiyya is just, so it's basically Aristotelian kind of categorization of debates. It's not the word of God. So Asrar Rashid with his Rashidiyya, I don't know whether he thought it's because it rhymes with my name or something, but he's given this book he's treating this book like giving it this lofty status that any discussion with Muslims must take place in accordance with the regulations and rules as highlighted in the Rashidiyah. And anything outside of the Rashidiyah, we cannot engage in that dialogue. Which is so goddamn stupid, because you don't need somebody to teach you in how to... You see, now this is when Asrar came to see me. He initially tried this tactic, okay? Now, I saw some of the people saying, oh, you never said this to Abu Layth. He actually did, right? He tried, this one, he tried. But this one, no luck, no luck here. I said to him very clearly, no, before he came, he did try, if you remember, if you watch that, he did actually say, we're going to talk in accordance with, and I said, no. I said, listen, I don't need somebody to teach me on how to have a conversation. Do you understand? I said, I don't need to read a book on telling me how to have a conversation. That, if you do, that's your problem. I said, I'm just going to talk, and the only judge is the Quran was Sunnah. Quran was Sunnah. I said, you could take the rest of your things and keep them. I'm not interested in your books and your... Quran was Sunnah. And I said, the voice of reason, of course, because it is what receives the Quran was Sunnah. Now, other than that, I said, you can mention anything, but it is not a form of evidence for me. And as to, I need a book to tell me how to have a conversation, I said, you got to be joking, mate. I don't need somebody from the 11th century or from, whatever, 11th century Hijri to tell me how to have a conversation. You're having a laugh, mate. Right, so here, there was the Rashidiyah. Rashidiyah. And Usman was saying to him, look, listen, let's just talk. Let's get on to the point. And Asrar was like, Rashid. In the words of, Nurinat, we spoke earlier on about Molajat, that, O Thalete Sonia. Why don't you leave your lofty Rashidiyah for a moment and O Thalete Sonia, let's have a conversation about this. Now the debate got so petty, Asrar became obsessed with me, non-stop mentioning Abu Layth. Abu Layth didn't know this book either. Abu Layth also didn't understand these kind of things. You see that this is the same thing that Asrar does everywhere. Now, the thing is that here Asrar has just now been exposed much more. You see, he tries this tactic everywhere. He goes, he refuses to engage in a conversation, and he just non-stop, stubbornly mentions some point and refuses to go. With me, it was this point of Santa Claus. Is Santa Claus real? Is Santa Claus real? Is Santa Claus real? Santa Claus is coming to town. Is he real? Is he real? I was thinking, what is this? Is he really? What kind of a stupid question is that? So that went on for 45 minutes in our dialogue. Now you can see here this Rashidiyah. Do you agree to the Rashidiyah? Do you agree to the Rashidiyah? What is this Rashidiyah? And then, what's his name? Sorry, Usman says to him, Ibrahim alayhi salam had a debate in the Quran. Although I did think, what the hell, that was a bit of a... But he uses that as a proof to say, look, why can't we just have a debate? So Asrar's response was, no, that's for kuffar, but for for Muslims, we have to stick to the Rashidiyah. And you're thinking, and then Usman says to him, yeah, but what about with Abdurrahman Hassan? You never use the Rashidiyah. And he says, yeah, but he wasn't, he's a Salafi. Yeah, at this stage, even the Aristotelian categorizations were like looking at Asrar like, यार ये ड्रामा क्या चल रहा है यार ये ड्रामा क्या चल रहा है what is going on here what is this oh yeah but Abdul Rahman Hassan was a Salafi and he said, oh, what do you mean he's not a Muslim? He said, no, of course he's a Muslim, but he's a غير مقلد. He's like, but what's that got to do with anything? And I mean, this whole thing, and Asrar non-stop kept mentioning me. Oh, Deobandis, they don't know how to produce scholars. They produced Abu Layth. Binoria produced Abu Layth. Is Asrar G forgetting that way before Binoria, I was in Damascus, Damascus, where Asrar himself claims to have studied. I too spent a few years there, before him. So this is the shocking thing. And then I studied at Pir Karam Shah Saab's place in Islamabad. But purposely, playing sectarianism. And I give credit to Usman actually here for not engaging that point. Asrar must have brought up my name on so many occasions. Yet, I gotta say that, I watched that and I thought, I'm impressed actually. Usman didn't actually take the bait on any of those. So I thought, well played, this guy, well played. But I was actually so disappointed. And the whole thing, Asrar then says to him, oh, you know what, he says to him, you're ignorant. Now, to be fair, there was a point where Usman asks, Maulvi Usman, asks Asrar, do you consider me to be a Maulana? So Asrar says yes. Now, I give Asrar respect there. that is actually a respectful response. Now, I don't know whether he actually believes it or not, but at least he said that. And I think when he asks Usman that what, don't you accept me to be a Maulana? Here, I think Usman actually, I think that was disrespectful. He of course, he should accept that he's a sheikh in his own standing. For Usman to say, no, I don't consider you to be a scholar. He said, I know your people call you a scholar, but I don't consider... I think that was... it wasn't directly rude, but it was indirectly rude. So I think, to be fair, Asrar was respectful initially in saying, I call you a Maulana. But then he followed that up by saying, you are ignorant. I was watching that like, what? He goes, you are an ignorant person, ignorant. And it was just ridiculous. So that was abusive, I suppose, language. And then their debate is interrupted. Then Usman says, I'm going to bring out the Brailvi books and I'm going to read them. And he says, no, we have to first of all agree on Rashidiyya. Are you Mu'allil? Are you Mani'? Are you this? Are you that? And all these Aristotelian kind of categorizations, it's like a desperate plea to kind of adopt sophistication. Like, you're here for a reason. Look, like if somebody said to me, look, you, for example, have made a claim. Like, Mufti, you've said, I don't know, let's just say, it could be anything. Like, it could be the Bukhari gate, or you've said, that Jesus, the second coming isn't going to happen, or anything controversial. Now, for me to say, okay, well, first of all, this question of yours that you've asked, can you explain the literary devices that are being used within this, and how are these literary devices categorized in taxonomic order by the grammarians? It's like, what? And then if I say, so you don't know how the grammarians have hierarchically structured these rhetorical devices. Aha! So you are ignorant. Aha! यार ये drama क्या चल रहा है यार, ये drama क्या चल रहा है? Look, I've got nothing against Aristotle. I love all the philosophers. But my point is, when somebody's making a claim, it's very simple to understand what they're saying. We don't need to resort to Aristotelian Greek taxonomy or classification of words and postulates, for example. We don't need to do that just to kind of look sophisticated. If somebody's saying to me, look, you made a claim about this, so I'd say, well, okay, fine, I've made this claim. What is your problem with it, or let's get into the dialogue. So if somebody was to say to me, you've said there is no second coming, I would say, well, okay, I take it you believe there is. The person would say yes. I would then ask them, okay, would you mind explaining or listing what it is that you actually believe about this second coming? I would like to have a list of the details of this belief. So for example, he's going to come, he's going to do this, he's going to do this. I'd like the detail. What am I supposed to believe? And then from here, I would like to question some of these things. And we can have a conversation. I mean, that's meant to be what the dialogue is. Or if somebody says, you've got a problem with Bukhari Gate, and then I would say, well, what do you believe, that this is certain, it's absolute certainty? Would you say there's some doubt? No, I believe it's 100% truthful. Okay, in that case, would you accept there's discrepancies in the different manuscripts? Okay, you do accept discrepancies. Do you accept all the discrepancies to be equally valid, or are some more valid than others? Okay, so you accept there's a variation, and so you accept some things are not as strong as others. Okay, so you accept that there's some unreliability in these things. Can we look at some of these narrations? Let's have a discussion. This is how a dialogue ought to happen. Now, to become like, well, no, let's stop it. When you question me, you used a particular verb. I would like you to break down the derivatives of that verb and explain to me the history of how this verb morphed into this understanding. I mean, what on earth has that got to do with anything? Are you bored? यार ये चल क्या रहा है यार, ये क्या हो रहा है boss, क्या हो रहा है? Get to the point. मुद्दा पे आओ. Like, come to the actual point. Have a conversation. Let the guy open the book and say that, look, today, so he read from a book called Miqyas Hanafiyat of Achravi Saab. So Maulana Usman, or this Maulvi Usman, in one of his video clips, he reads from one of these books and he highlights that, look, this book says that the Prophet is present when any couple anywhere are having sexual intercourse. So he says, is this not ridiculously blasphemous? That, what do you mean the Prophet is present? Why would the Prophet want to be present? What does this mean? This is blasphemy. And because the Brilvis always, and Asrar for a decade at least, has been championing this thing, blasphemy cannot be tolerated against the Prophet, blasphemy, blasphemy. So now it's about time you stand to that test and say, well, okay, well, you're right, that is blasphemous, so we disown it. Or maybe he was saying this, and give it a context. But what is this, like, oh, then you can get up and leave, or then you can, if you speak outside of this Rashidiyah. Even Abdul Rashid Jompuri Sahib in his grave will be like, yaar, who's given me this importance? Yaar, ye Asrar kaun hai, yaar? Even he must be so intrigued in his grave that he must be thinking, even in my own lifetime, nobody took me this seriously. He must be making dua for Asrar from his grave. Usually people make dua for the dead. Here you must have the dead making dua for the living. He must say, Wah, Ya Allah, Wah, Wah, Dil khush kar diya yaar. I like it, you know, this one is Rashid, Asrar Rashid, and this Rashid, you know, friend. People, it's fun and games, fun and games. So that's what the village wars are going on right now. And there seems to be this huge party split going on. I hear our good old friend, Maulvi Makri, those of you that remember John, Johnny, Jonathan, do you remember earlier on we spoke about Yasir Al-Hanafi, aka Father Gonzalez from Omar Akbar Anthony. Right, so John, Johnny, Jonathan, those of you that remember the song. So I hear there's all these around this village war. This village, we can take this village. This reminds us of like the war taking place in Sholay. You know Sholay, the movie Rampur. Rampur ke Sholay is going on, right? So Yasir Al-Hanafi, Maulvi Makariya here, he's taken sides with Asrar, even though, so you have this new Dio Brelvi alliance. Ye dosti hum nahi bhulenge. So, and that's because, believe it or not, folks, he's turned his back on the other Deobandis. My intel tells me, my ISI intel tells me, that he's turned his back on the other Deobandis because, and he's called his own Deobandis to boycott those Deobandis and to aid Asrar. Why? Because Asrar has also refuted a common enemy. Upon me, yaar. I'm the enemy of my enemy is my friend. friend. So this is going on in the background. I hear all of this is going on. Yaar, ye Rampur mein ho kya raha hai? Yaar, Rampur ke Sholay. That's what's going on. So I don't know whether there's going to be more of these dialogues or debates to come, but the Mufti Masala will be there for the review. I look forward to them. So my message to Asrar Ji, Ar-Rashidiyya. Where's Ar-Rashid? Ar-Rashidiyya, yeah? Yaar ko Ar-Rashid, yaar ko Ar-Rashid, yaar, wuzu karo, yaar, without wudu, touching Rashidiyya. Oh, astaghfirullah. Rashidiyya. Allah. Sorry, wrong religion. Rashidiyya. We're not worthy. Right, so, people, right, with that, I'll leave you all till this coming Monday. Catch you then. As always, it's been awesome, people. Into the new year, all these laughs, mashallah. May Allah forever keep each and all of us laughing. Take very good care of yourselves. Till next week, stay blessed. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala